Right, hello and good Tuesday night to you. I'm Hugh Keeton, live here in the WLOX Digital Desk, and it is the 4th of July holiday week, so we're going to talk about so many great things that you can do here on the holiday week with a look around at our coast life here in South Mississippi. If you're looking for something to do this week on 4th of July and end of the weekend, just check out GulfCoastWeekend.com. Right there you see we have a list of 4th of July celebrations, so many fireworks shows going on, and great summertime activities. Speaking of great summertime activities and 4th of July events, if you want to go to a traditional 4th of July summer event here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, you can head over to Bay St. Louis on Thursday on 4th of July for the OGG Crabfest. It is the 40th year for the Crabfest, and earlier I talked with the man who organizes all of the event, getting ready for the Crabfest there, and here is that story as it is our first stop on our Coast Life tour on our 4th of July week.
There's no other place in my mind for me to live. I couldn't live anywhere else. I love Bay St. Louis.
A big reason why Bay St. Louis is such a great place for Jimmy Osborne to live comes around every 4th of July, when the grounds of Our Lady of the Gulf turn into the home of the Crabfest.
The best food that you'll ever put in your mouth is cooked right out there by local people.
Osborne helps bring all the food and people together.
Yeah, you could say I was King Crab. That's what a lot of people around here call me.
This will be the 40th Crabfest, and Osborne has been a part of it for more than 30 of those years.
It started out stirring a pot, and it kind of grew from there, I reckon.
It takes almost a full year of work in advance to get these booths ready to host thousands of people over a 3-day period.
We'll have probably close to 60 to 70,000 people come through the grounds.
During the festival, many of those people will spill out into the streets of Bay St. Louis. Karen Grumbine always makes sure her business, Baytique, is open on the 4th of July.
It just brings people in from all over. They love the food. They're just having a good time listening to music, drinking, and eating. And then they come over here and they cool off and they shop.
To pull off feeding and entertaining thousands of people takes a team effort from all across the community.
Mike Favre's our gumbo expert. He's our mayor, and all that gumbo is made from scratch.
Osborne calls Favre's gumbo the best he's ever had. The gumbo, crabs, and other seafood on 4th of July is a tradition built by years of hard work started by Joe Monte and continued on today.
Joe's actually still part of the festival. He's here every year. I lean hard on him because, he's been here all 40 years. He's the one that it's kind of his baby. I'm just rocking it for him right now.
The Crabfest will keep rocking on each summer as long as people like Osborne stay committed to making it happen.
It's always been fun. Of course, as people get older, things change. They're not always able to stay. I'm sure that day will come for me. I hope it doesn't come too soon, though.
So that is a look at what goes into the Crabfest happening this week in Bay St. Louis. If you want to learn more, you can check out their website, and that website is olgchurch.net, and then they have a link there to the 40th annual Crabfest. It's happening on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can find the full schedule there, and you can get one of the t-shirts you saw in the story there to remember this year's Crabfest, the 40th year of it. Also, they were going to have music all 3 days of the festival. So that's certainly should be a good time later this week in Bay St. Louis. And as you heard there in the story, always some good food out there, great seafood in Bay St. Louis. Now, if you're looking for something different to do this week than maybe a festival or fireworks, well, there's a couple of places you can go around South Mississippi. In Loosedale and Wiggins, it's called Charlie's U-Pick. Well, you can't think of the summertime and 4th of July without watermelon. Well, at those places, Charlie U-Pick in Wiggins and Loosedale, they grow their own watermelons and other fruits and vegetables, and you can pick it right out of the garden. I made the trip to the headquarters for Charlie's U-Pick in Loosedale last month, and I bring you this story here. It's about Eubanks Produce. Not only do they offer the Charlie's U-Pick, they also are a very big produce company, and they ship their produce around the country. And here's a look at Charlie's U-Pick at Eubanks Produce.
We grow tomatoes, peppers, squash, cucumbers, beans, peas, okra, just a lot of different stuff.
Alan Eubanks oversees hundreds of acres of farmland outside Lucedale, and people come from all around to buy the fruits and vegetables right on the farm.
I think it's amazing because the fact of it's fresh food.
And it's fun.
Visitors can buy the produce from under the pavilion or pick it themselves in the field, and it gives about 90 high school students a summer job.
All right, that'd be 31.
It was definitely not planned this way, it just kind of happened.
Charlie's U-Pick was started out of necessity more than 2 decades ago by Alan's father, Charlie Eubanks.
We had a small tomato field that had about 5 acres of tomatoes, and the market went south, couldn't sell them. So he put an ad in the paper, hey, come out and pick your tomatoes, $5 a bucket. We started out with him and maybe one of his friends and 3 or 4 of our kids, helping him out in the summertime, just a small tent. And he always used to tell everybody, it's a great job, you know, I get to see all my friends and I get to take up money.
The farm is a lot bigger now than when Charlie started offering the U-Pick, but the family involvement stayed the same. Alan and his wife Janice are joined by their 4 children in working the farm.
I think we all work really well together, and it's just a privilege.
It brings back lots of memories, being here with my brothers out here at the farm with our grandpa, Charlie.
Alan's daughter Allison has 3 children of her own. They make the 5th generation of the Eubanks family on the farm. One of the kids is named after her great-grandfather, Charlie.
She's up here all the time. You'll find her talking to customers, stocking stuff, eating watermelon. So my family is up here a lot.
Those fruits and vegetables grown here in these fields but not sold locally will be sent around the nation and on store shelves within just a couple of days.
We grow and ship and pack about 2,000 acres of produce. Watermelons is one of the bigger acreages, and right now we're in watermelon season.
The watermelons and other produce are packaged and loaded on trucks in a warehouse just down the road from Charlie's U-Pick.
We try to pride ourselves in trying to pack today and ship tonight or tomorrow, so it's a really fast turnaround.
Eubanks Produce Farm keeps growing. In the last few years, the family started raising cattle, and they also have a second U-Pick location in Wiggins.
Our Wiggins location brings a lot of people out of Gulfport, Hattiesburg, off the coast, and a lot of kids there have never seen a field, you know, and they can go out there and see how a squash grows, and make the connection. You know, it's just not just at the grocery shelf. It actually comes out of a field and then goes to the grocery store.
The farm life is the only life for the Eubanks family, and they'll keep farming as long as they can keep selling their produce.
I couldn't ask for anything better.
I think it's something you really have to cherish and take care of.
That's our goal, is to provide a safe, healthy, and economical product to as many consumers as we can.
So that is Eubanks Produce and Charlie's U-Pick. You can find their watermelons in grocery stores all over South Mississippi. I've seen they're usually out at Walmart even, so they're not hard to find if you're looking for a Walmart, or for a watermelon. Just look for the Eubanks sticker there. And for more information on Charlie's U-Pick, there's 2 locations, one in Lucedale and one in Wiggins. You can go out there. You know it's fresh because you'll be picking it right out of the field. You can find their website there at Charlie's U-Pick, that's UPIK.com, and there you can find the information, the hours, the directions, and everything. And it is a good time. It's something to do on this holiday week as well. Well, also for 4th of July, you might want to try out some sweets. And I caught up with a man who makes unique sweets, to say the least. It is a man in Saussure, and he makes these elaborate cakes, and he likes giving them away. And I caught up with him as he was getting ready one of his cakes to give away to first responders. And here is our next stop on our Coast Life tour this week in Saussure.
Everybody can ride a bicycle. I ride mine on one wheel.
Russell Scott's bikes are his cakes.
If someone calls me and says they want a cake that looks like a heart, I'm like, do you want the heart beating? Do you want blood squirting out of it? How do you want your heart?
It's hard to tell. Many of Scott's creative creations are actually cakes. Although he's never been formally trained as a baker, he uses some other skills in his cake making.
I was in the military as a mechanic, so I learned how to do lights. So some of my cakes have lights, sound, smoke.
Now Scott is the cafeteria manager at Crossroads Elementary School. He'll surprise the students with cakes on special occasions, and the surprise is always the highlight of his culinary process.
I had someone come to me and said she was getting married on the beach during the cruise in the coast, and she liked the rat rods. And I said, okay, I'm going to make you a cake. And it was a rat rod truck that had smoke coming out of the exhaust, sound, and lights. She was pretty happy.
Scott's latest sweet surprise is a tribute to firefighters.
They're working 24/7, so I made them a cake. I'm just giving it a light little airbrush just to give it a wear and tear look, like somebody's worn it and used a little bit. Just putting an elastic band around it, and just to make it look a little bit realistic, we're going to put a real flashlight on it. That looks pretty well like a fireman's hat.
With the cake completed, he takes it to Harrison County's Saucier Fire Station.
Hi, I'm Russell.
Hey, nice to meet you. Jacob.
I think it's awesome. Y'all got the 24/7 paramedic here now, and that's why I'm wanting to do this. Just say thank you. So I figured I'd make y'all a cake, something a little bit different.
That is different.
The immediate reaction is just the details in the cake, how just unique it is and super special to us, based on the fact that it's a fire helmet. All the way down to the leather strap, the indentions on the leather strap is very, very detailed. We're very appreciative of him doing that.
Of course, a cake isn't just for decoration.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, so.
Maybe the biggest surprise comes in the flavor.
It's bacon and maple. I want to see y'all's faces when y'all taste it.
Amazing. This is unique.
Scott's cakes leave a lasting taste and memory for those who receive a piece.
Most of all, what I like is to see the people's face when they see my cakes. It makes me happy to see the smiles.
And that is Russell Scott with Four Pine Cakes. He makes those amazing cakes right out of his home. That was something to see, certainly. And if you want to check out one of his cakes, actually, he's going to be making one and delivering it to the staff of the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo later this week in Gulfport. And if you want to learn more about Four Pine Cakes and any kind of cakes that you might have an idea for, Scott can probably tackle it. And you can look for this story on our website, WLOX.com there. Coast Life, Cake Maker brings joy with elaborate creations. You can just search elaborate cakes probably on WLOX.com and you can find it. And then we have a link to his Facebook page down at the bottom of the article there so you can find him. And if you're interested in one of these cakes, you can find him there on his Facebook page, Four Pine Cakes. So that's pretty cool to check out there. All right, so it is summertime, and anytime on a windy day, if you look out on the beach along the Mississippi Gulf Coast here, you might see some kites flying in the sky out over the water. Well, I caught up with a group that go out, they kiteboard, and they also are trying something new called wing foiling. So here's an inside look at these high flyers with their kites out on the water. This is the next stop on our Coast Life tour.
It's just exhilarating and just flying along on the water with no motor and the wind's just pulling you.
It's pretty fun riding above the water and doing just whatever you can put your mind to. A lot of people in my school have just said they're scared. They'll see my Instagram page and they'll be like, I could never do that. I'd be too scared to do it.
Gulfport High School student Braden Groves isn't afraid of riding the waves while the wind pulls his kite, and neither is 72-year-old Sonny Ellis.
You don't feel your age when you're out there. You really don't. If you know what you're doing, it's like all the aches and pains you have, you don't have them out there.
Says you can do it from like 8 years old to 80. And what's fun about it is 80-year-olds just as excited as an 8-year-old to want to do this.
Before most people even knew kiteboarding was a thing, Tommy Whitman started windsurfing 40 years ago. Then in 1989, turned his thrilling hobby into his business, Gulfport Board Sports.
The bar sheets in and out to depower and power the kite.
Today, he's still introducing people like me to wind sports on the water in what he calls the perfect place for it.
The water's shallow, which is really good for learning, because if you're learning water over your head, it's a whole lot more difficult. And if you have big breaking waves too, so the Mississippi coast is a great place to learn to kiteboard and then progress as far as you want to go too.
Navigating the wind on a board does need practice.
It's not as hard as it looks. It's a technique more than strength.
The main thing is just learning how to fly the kite and not going in conditions that you're not, able to go in. You just have your wits about you and fire the safety, and it's really a whole lot safer than it used to be.
You don't have to have a kite to take advantage of the windy days on the water. Whitman says what's called wing foiling is becoming more and more popular.
So once you get moving, the board's not even in the water anymore. A hydrofoil is a foil that's underneath the water, and when you're actually just riding the foil and not the board. And so the foils have just taken over a lot of things to just make things a lot more fun.
Whether it's foiling or kiteboarding, there's no stopping once you get a taste of the windy action.
I see myself doing it at 80. Yeah. If you can stay healthy and, stay in decent shape, you can do this.
Main thing is just get up off the couch and do something, keep moving. It's definitely a part of coast life.
That certainly looks like a lot of fun, but you probably have to have a little daredevil in you to be able to do it. Kiteboarding, it's amazing to see how high they got up there. Seemed like with ease, but it certainly takes some talent and some training to do that. If you want to learn more, you mentioned, or you heard me mention there in the story, Gulfport Board Sports. Here's a look at their website. You can find that website is gulfportboardsports.com. You can find out more information. You see right there, they also offer lessons if you want to get involved, but you can reach out to them there and find more information about the equipment and basically how to get started, or if you already know how to do it, you can, this is a group you can get involved with, as they know people across the Gulf Coast that are taking part in that. Okay, so this weekend, of course, is 4th of July coming up on Thursday. A lot is happening across the Mississippi Gulf Coast for 4th of July. One of the longest running traditions for 4th of July here is the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. It happens every year in the harbor in Gulfport, and actually last year around this time, before 4th of July, I caught up with a member of the family, or one of the families, who helped gets the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo up every single year. And here's a look at that story as we take a behind-the-scenes look at this family that makes the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo happen in Gulfport every year. Here's our next stop on the Coast Life Tour in Gulfport.
4th of July at Jones Park in Gulfport just wouldn't be the same without the fish, the music, and maybe a beverage. At the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo, Jay Watts makes sure those drinks are nice and cold.
I've been bouncing around, getting everybody set up, getting our different kegerators in certain areas, making sure our beer's taken care of, and all of our Coke products.
Jay is only 23, but he brings plenty of experience.
I've been involved with it since I was 8.
When the organization had an opening for a director of beverages,
that registration,
Jay was an easy choice.
As soon as he turned 21, we just grabbed the books and threw it all at him and said, here, you got to learn it.
But there wasn't much about the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo Jay didn't already learn from his family.
Out of 3 generations, I'm the 5th director.
Jay's grandfather, George Wright, got the family tradition all started in 1975 when he first worked the rodeo. Wright went on to serve as director and weighmaster for many years before Jay's uncle, Mark Wright, became weighmaster in the late 2000s. Jay's grandmother and aunt were also directors, and his mother was even a rodeo princess. Now his grandparents have both passed away, and Jay feels like he's carrying on their legacy.
They kind of set the stone for how things were going to be here, and and they had such a big involvement and had played such a big part of everything for so long, and it just makes me feel proud to kind of carry on something that meant so much to them as well.
While some of the other directors may not be related by blood to the Wrights, they still talk about the family, especially George Wright, like they are related.
When I first started, he took me by the arm and kind of showed me the ropes, and his famous things was, "Hey, big boy, you got it under control?" I said, "I'm working on it, I'm working on it."
Now it's Jay Watts making the lasting memories every 4th of July, and he's made a strong impression on current board president Richie Valdez.
I'm calling it now. Future president right there. He'll take the rodeo long and far. I'll be able to sit back and at home and watch it on the news and go, "Hey, I remember when he was just a young guy."
I really hope that you enjoy your cake.
This year, Jay even got his other side of the family involved. His cousin Russell Scott surprised the rodeo staff with this elaborate cake. that could easily be mistaken for a fish.
It's a Maui Maui or a dolphin fish. I've been coming out to the rodeos now since I was about 5 years old. It's just a part to say thank you for what y'all do.
While the deep sea fishing rodeo might feel like a family reunion for Jay, it's also a celebration of the coast he calls home.
The rodeo has been there, through a lot of, natural disasters and through a lot of good times as well. And so the fact that, this is our 75th year, it's a real testament to, what it means to the community, because at the end of the day, we're here because of the community.
So that was last year at the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo in Gulfport. You heard him say there, last year was number 75, so this year is the 76th annual Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo in Gulfport, and it all gets going over the next several days. It's always a lot of fun there with activities, vendors, rides, and of course the fireworks. You can also see the fish out there as well. So that's a look around at what's happening with our coast life here, and anytime you're looking for something to do, just check out GulfCoastWeekend.com. You can find a list of all the activities happening across the coast right there. Just click on the 4th of July celebrations list and you can start making your plans now. A lot is happening starting really tomorrow night on July 3rd, and then it continues on the 4th and on into the weekend. So no shortage of things happening here on the 4th of July weekend. Perfect time for you to get out and about here on the coast during the middle of the summer. So that's a look at what's happening with the coast life. We hope you enjoy the holiday week ahead, and whatever you do, enjoy the coast life.